It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 171 today. Really glad that you're with us to enjoy clothes-free living for all of the right reasons for the next hour. So come on in, the pool is fine, the hot tub is fired up, the grill is going full bore, and as I look out the window overlooking the grill, do you remember Renita Westall? She was our very first guest on episodes 1 and 2. Well, she flew over from the UK just to fire up the grill and get that going. So we thank Renita Westall for that. We have fruits and vegetables off to the right, cold drinks off to the left, hot drinks inside, and you know what we have outside. We have a hammock, we have putting greens, we have bocce ball, and inside the pool area, we have the infamous cigar bar. Help yourself. We have everything that you need to enjoy the next hour. Well, on today's show, part 2 of my interview with Linda Weber, the president for the American Association for Nude Recreation. And, of course, we have Lisa Monroe coming up in just a moment. She's literally walking through the studio door as we speak this morning. And we are just glad that you're with us. Enjoy the grill, enjoy the pool, the hot tub. Everything is here for you. And let's just enjoy this hour, putting everything else aside. Clothes-free living for all the right reasons. I hear music that can only mean one thing. It's time for the great, the terrific, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one-of-a-kind, the one and only, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning, Frank. I actually am doing pretty well. March is around the corner, which means our quote-unquote spring is coming soon, so I'm a happy camper.
Around the corner as in tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes. It's here.
I know.
No idea how we got to March 1st so quickly, but tomorrow it is March 1st, and we just go on.
Yeah, we just keep going. We keep going like the Energizer Bunny. Nothing can stop us. So I think it's pretty fun. And yes, I'm just happy for March to come.
All right, you didn't ask for this, but here's a really bad joke that I learned in elementary school, and will know that it's an elementary joke when you hear it. What is the busiest day of the year for people in boot camp in the Army?
I have no idea.
March 4th. And that's coming up this Wednesday. So if you know anybody in the Army, send them your support. Elementary, like 3rd grade.
We should make some on the Wednesday show, if that's the day. We should make some really big deal about the March 4th, I suppose. Goodness gracious.
Or we could just drop it forever and pretend I didn't say it.
That might be the wisest thing we could do, but who knows?
That's what I get for telling somebody else's jokes. See, my own jokes are drop dead hilarious. When I borrow them, they're not so funny.
Yeah. That's I'm not too darn sure that wasn't your joke.
No. That's stolen back in 3rd grade. I heard that. Well, anyway, everybody knows we have a Patreon page, and you know why. We gave up highly paid work to do this for free for the Naturism community. We wanted to give more and more and more, and we've done that. But, there are expenses. We asked you to help us out. You've done so. We cannot tell you enough how much we appreciate you. And earlier this month on the 10th, the people at the highest level, is it the highest level or the highest 2 levels who get the
highest 2 levels?
Highest 2 levels get the special content. We sent special content to Beat the Band.
Yep.
And if you missed out on that, you missed out on some really big stuff, not kidding or exaggerating. But anyway, we thank you for being a PPP, a paying Patreon peep. And every show, we try to highlight 2 people who have recently joined or upgraded. And Lisa Monroe, who do we have today?
Well, first we have Jacob, who has joined us, and we appreciate that. But we also have something very special. We have, then I'll talk about that in a second. We've seen an awful lot of people upgrading their memberships on Patreon in the last few weeks, and we really appreciate it. But this one's very special. He's kind of a big friend of the show and just a great guy. And it is Richard who has now upgraded to the patron level, and we really, really appreciate that.
Yep. Now he did upgrade some time ago. We're going back into the archives to find those people and
Right.
highlight them as well.
Absolutely.
And so, Richard, we thank you for upgrading, and we thank you very much. This is the Richard who sent us the picture with all the
Yes.
NNN gear.
Yes.
And Jacob, we appreciate you very much, and we appreciate everybody who was a PPP. Thank you very much.
Well, we sure do. And it's been kind of a interesting several weeks that we've gone through. For the last month or so, we've seen such a huge uptick in listeners when we already had a lot of listeners. So this huge uptick in listeners. We've seen a huge uptick in the Patreon page and paying people. And wow, we really appreciate that because that's going to allow us to do things like upgrade our website and everything. That's what we're using that for. And also just the website's gone crazy. So I don't know, but it's been wonderful. And we appreciate the new listeners and the new people who are going to the website. And it's just been a fun few weeks and it's great. We love it. So thank you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So whatever is going on out there, our ratings and numbers have grown tremendously in the last few weeks. So whoever is responsible for that, we thank them, whoever that might be, right, Lisa?
Absolutely. The when the word gets out, then people come to us and they find out how much they enjoy the show and they stay, and it's great. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Merchandise, anything going on there?
Actually, the merchandise that I've been talking about for a while is now on the website. And it is, I just kept thinking that, we couldn't always just wear something out that said naked nudist and naturist. I mean, you can't really wear that to certain places, like maybe your kid's school, although some people can in certain places. But so it's kind of like the undercover NNM merch. And it's just our leaf logo, which is very identifiable with us. The red leaf that's on our logo. So you can get merchandise like mugs, T-shirts, hoodies, all those water bottles, all those things that just have the little red leaf on it. So you will know you're supporting Naturism, but you won't have to explain it to anyone if you don't choose to.
Okay. All right. Very good. And how do they find our merchandise page?
They go to the website. It's kind of crowded there now with a lot of people, but go to the website and just, push your way in and find the NNN store, and all the merch is there.
All right. Very good. We have a lengthy letter we want to get to, and then Bob and Hank are supposed to be here. They're still not here. I don't know what those guys are doing, but maybe while we're reading this letter, while you're reading a paragraph, I'll text them, but they're coming in for a couple of things. But let's get to the letter. This is from Brian. I believe he's from Nebraska. And he is in gigantically huge trouble with me. We might not even read the letter because he starts off with, "Hello, Lisa," capital letters, 6 or 7 exclamation points. "And Jen," capital letters, 6 or 7 exclamation points. The longest ellipsis in history. And he types out long pause, another ellipsis, and then all lowercase letters, and Frank. I don't know. I think I'm done with Brian.
May I also mention that he underlined Lisa and Jen?
Oh, you're right.
So we got really special treatment. I guess you're just along for the ride, buddy.
I might have to underline Brian. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds, what the heck, why not?
No, you know better than that. I'd love these people, that our listeners are having such incredible fun with this name thing. It's just great.
Yeah. But we're going to go on because his first sentence and his first paragraph redeems him. So, Brian, we'll go ahead and read your letter. And he says, "Okay, seriously. Hello, NNN crew." And we'll buy that.
Yes.
"First of all, I want to thank you for such a great show, exclamation point. I found your podcast back in August of 25 and have not missed a new show since. I have now gone back to episode 1 and am enjoying each and every one of those shows. I look forward to every Wednesday and Saturday and can't wait to see what you have in store. I wouldn't say your show saved my marriage, but it has been a very helpful tool for me to explain some things to my wife." You want to take the next paragraph?
I sure will. "When I was a young boy, around 6 or 7 years old, my family spent a lot of time at the lake camping. Every night after someone went to bed, I would stay up and fish. I would always get naked and enjoy the summer breeze and temperatures. At that age, I didn't even know what sex was. All I knew was that I enjoyed the freedom of being naked and hated to have to get dressed as morning came. I would get naked all through my teenage years when I could find the time and place to be alone. Again, nothing sexual, but just enjoying being outside and feeling the sun on my skin. I did not grow up in a naturist family. Not that my parents were prudes, far from it. Nudity was casual growing up, and I saw both parents nude quite often. Us kids were often nude going between the bathrooms and bedrooms. Not until my teenage years did my mom start to cover up more. So I don't know why I felt that I could not be naked around them in any other situation. I just always kept it to myself.
And we do hear that quite a bit. You
Yes, we
just know
do.
inherently, I'm supposed to be naked as a jaybird. It feels better. I'm doing it. Going on with Brian's letter, when I was in college, I kept having these feelings of wanting to be naked. None of my other friends or roommates ever talked about doing anything like that. Sometimes I would make little comments about nudity, and it would always bring up a laugh or a joke to be made. So I started to feel as though something was maybe a little off with me. Yeah, everybody's been there and done that too. I had never heard of a nudist or naturist, and this was well before the internet. One day I was in my room doing homework. It was in the summer and very hot, and we had no air conditioning. So I had a fan on and was completely naked. One of my roommates barged into my room and started laughing at me. He asked what I was doing, and I told him I was studying. He asked why I was naked, and I made up some excuse that I was just getting ready to get in the shower because I had to go to work. So from then on, I stayed clothed all the time. I still had the urges to be naked, but I just repressed them. And we hate to hear that, but that happens a lot too.
It does.
Yeah, once you continue on.
Okay. At the end of my junior year, I started dating my now wife. I had been sleeping nude from the time I was very young, but when she would stay, I would always wear boxer shorts. So as time went on, I finally just went back to sleeping nude, and she did not seem to be bothered by it. So as time went on, I would just sleep naked all the time. When we were in college, we had some sand pits that we could all hang out at and party and swim. One weekend, there were probably 200 of us at the pits. I had just gotten there and was sitting in my truck when two co-eds came out of the water completely nude. I so wanted to just rip off my shorts and join them, but there were lots of laughter and finger pointing. Later that night, I told my girlfriend about the incident. She didn't seem to be open to what they had done. I had contemplated telling her about my urges to be naked, but being young and dumb, I kept it to myself.
All right. I'll continue on. I just texted Hank and Bob. They're allegedly a minute and a half away. So
No, that
uh,
their time count sometimes
yeah.
are not good. But anyway,
Yeah,
go
as
ahead.
far as getting here early, I guess that went out the door too.
Yes.
All right, moving along. After we were married, the urges and feelings did not go away. And I'll tell you right now, Brian and everybody else, they don't go away because it's the natural, normal thing to do.
It is.
So when she was gone for the weekend, I started getting nude again. It was the best feeling in the world. I had kept from doing it for many years, but I could not deny the absolute feeling of freedom it gave me. I wanted to tell her, but feared that I might cause a lot of problems between us. This was a huge mistake on my part. Fast forward to 25 years of marriage and 3 kids. I finally got so sick of hiding it from her that I just blurted it out one day. And this opened up a Pandora's box, so to speak. This led to a lot of conversations, and not all were good. She was upset that I had kept this from her for all of these years, but at the same time, she admitted she probably would have had a very negative feeling toward it had I told her when we were dating. And if you'll take the next really, really long paragraph, I'll duck out and make sure the door's open.
Okay, I will do so. We have since moved on, and she actually has gotten into naturism somewhat. We have been to nude beaches and a few nude resorts together. So when we are home, I always want to get my clothes off and be naked. 2 of our adult kids both live out of the house, know that I'm a naturist, but our younger does not. She does not want the youngest to know, and this is where we butt heads. First, she did not understand why I wanted to be naked as soon as I walked in the door from work. This is where your show has come in. I have had her listen to a couple of your shows where you both talk about how you can't wait to get home and take off all your clothes. She just thought it was me being weird. Now she sees there are more people just like me. Also, she's getting a better understanding of naturism due to your podcast. So thank you very much for what you're doing with spreading the naturism lifestyle. Second, she never wanted the kids to know. I have never understood this because it's not like we're doing something taboo. She just wanted it to be between us. One of the kids caught me nude out by our pool and told the other one. So I sat down and had a long conversation with both of them. Neither seemed to be upset, but maybe a little shocked. My wife, though, made sure to tell both of the kids that I was a naturist and not her. But yes, she enjoys being naked. This is not a hill I'm going to die on. If this eases her mind, then so be it. But we still have not told our youngest, and this is where I wish I had told my wife earlier in our relationship so maybe I could have brought our kids into the lifestyle when they were younger. Like I told both of my adult kids, I am an open book. Ask me anything, and if I can answer, I will. I urge them to try it for themselves because they really don't know what they're missing. After telling my kids, I feel a huge relief now. I feel like I wanted to just scream it to everybody, but I know that would not be met with open minds where we live.
Oh, yes. And as you can see, I've delivered Hank and Bob to the studio here.
Yes, yes. They're quietly sitting in the corner.
Before we finish, yeah, and we'll bring you guys up here in a moment. In fact, you can get up to your mics now. We don't have them on, so you won't cause a ruckus. I'll finish up here. For me, the best thing I have done was tell my family. I've been able to enjoy naturism without feeling like I need to hide it or feel guilty for it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your podcasts. They have reiterated to me, this is who I am and what I should be doing. My wife will actually sit down and listen to some of them, and for that, she is getting a better understanding of naturism and where I am coming from. Keep up the excellent work! Exclamation point. I feel you are helping other people just like myself by just telling your own stories. We are all in this great cause together. Thank you, Brian from Nebraska. Well, I'm speechless. Lisa Monroe, he's saying we've helped him. We're helping other people, which was the mission from the beginning, right?
Yes, and they help us because this reiterates to us that what we're doing is needed by people because their people don't get the message. They don't hear it.
All right, let's thank you again, Brian from Nebraska. Glad we're helping you, and thank you for your letter. Let me put the mics on here. First of all, we have Hicksville Hank. Good morning, Hank. Doggone some gun. I ain't sure why I'm here. You said something I ain't going to be singing. I might or might not tell some jokes. I got me no idea why you called me in. Well, we got a letter from Matt. Yes. And remember, you told those naturism jokes. You might be a naturist. Oh yeah. I remember them fondly. I've been telling them at karaoke bar every night. Well, good.
Good.
All right. Well, Matt wrote a letter, and part of it is to us, but the first part is to you, Hank. First part's to me. I don't even know what to say. Well, let me just read it. Sure. Dear Hicksville Hank, what a fun surprise on the show today. Thank you for your professional rendering of you might be a naturist jokes I sent in. I really got a kick out of hearing them on the air. I think you lent a level of authenticity to the performance. Jeff Foxworthy has nothing on you. I think I need a moment alone. It's okay if I leave? No.
No, you can't.
That's right. Stay right there. Just people appreciate you, Hank, and I thought you'd like to hear that live on the air. Well, I don't know how to respond. Thank you, Matt. It's a doggone good to hear from you. Maybe someday we'll meet. Maybe at the karaoke bar when I sing and tell more of your jokes. It's true. And then Matt finishes up to the rest of the NN crew. See, we come after Hank.
Yes, we did. Yeah. And yes, we know where we rate now.
Yes, yeah. Thank you again for being with me each week on my personal naturist journey. Your virtual support and encouragement really have meant a lot to me. Well, thank you, Matt. That's kind of what we've been talking about. We appreciate you for cementing that home as well. We bring in Bob here for no particular reason other than he's been wanting to come in and we might have something for him today. Good morning, Bob. How are you today, sir? Bob. Lisa, can you tap him on the shoulder? Bob. Whoa.
Bob.
Oh, dude, goodness. Man. Whoa. Why is there a radio studio in my bedroom, man? No.
Oh, Bob.
Bob, wake up. You're in the radio studio of Naked Nudists and Naturists. Oh, so it's not my bedroom at all. Okay. Whoa, I think I fogged out for a minute there, man. Anyway, good to see you guys. What time does the show start? Well, we are well into the show. As we talked about on the phone the other night, we have some naturist jokes, kind of like the ones Matt sent in. You might be a naturist, and we thought you would like to tell them.
Oh, well, yeah, I've been practicing, man. Can I tell them all, or is Hank get a piece of the action?
Well, what do you think, Hank?
Well, no, I got me my fix the last show. It's only fair. Bob does his own, and I'll stay out, and I'll just continue to read Matt's letter over and over if that's okay with you.
I figured you might. Okay, Bob, go ahead.
That's Hank.
Yeah. If you consider a wardrobe malfunction to be accidentally putting on a shirt, you might be a naturist.
I like that one.
Well done, Bob. You have another one?
Yeah, I have 4 today. If you think your birthday suit is the most formal outfit that you own, you might be a naturist.
These are good.
Yeah, not bad.
Now, wait a minute. You didn't say that to me. Are you saying Bob's jokes is better than my jokes?
No, I am not. I was
Okay.
laughing when you were telling them,
That's
and
true.
I'm laughing now, but that was a good joke.
That's true. That's true. Always forgiven. Bob, carry on. I'm going to keep
Thank
reading
you.
Matt's letter.
All right, Bob, take it away.
Yeah, Hank, I don't need the interruptions, man. Here we go. Next joke. It's hard for me to focus as it is. But anyway, if you've ever reached for your pocket to grab your phone, only to realize you're touching your own bare skin hip, you might be a naturist.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yes.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Bob. We're a little short on time. One more.
Yeah, here I go, man. If you pass away and they notify your next of kin, you might be a naturist.
Oh, my. Well, that's an interesting one, but, I guess it fits.
Now, Matt didn't send these in. Is that
no,
correct, Bob?
no.
No, I got these off the old interweb, so we know they're true.
Okay. Got to let you guys go. We're up against the clock here. Thanks, Hank.
Yeah, anytime you need me in, just call me.
All right. And Bob, thank you as well.
Yeah, dude, anytime, man.
All right.
Bye,
Lisa
guys.
Monroe.
Yes.
Let's get to part 2 of my interview with Linda WEBER, the president of the American Association for Nude Recreation. If you promise to stay totally naked as a jaybird until the end of the show, we'll have you back after the interview. Is that a deal?
That's a very good deal, and can't wait to hear the rest of Linda's interview.
All right. See you in a little bit. The very terrific Lisa Monroe. She does it all around here, and we appreciate Lisa Monroe very much. Well, as a reminder, we are the official podcast of the American Association for Nude Recreation. Are you a member? If so, that is great. But if not, just like 2,405 of you have done, everybody else can become a member today. Just go to AANR.com, follow the navigation through the membership, and within moments, you will be a fully fledged member of the American Association for Nude Recreation. How about that for a deal on a Saturday morning? Well, you are listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 171 today. Really glad that you're with us to enjoy this hour of clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. And now let's get to part 2 of my interview with Linda WEBER, president for the American Association for Nude Recreation, part 2 with Linda WEBER. So we talked about the dual direct option, and that's 2 people in the same house and get a $15 discount grand total, not 15 each, but 15 total.
Total, yes.
Okay. And what is the current rate to join as a direct member?
The current rate is $65.
Okay.
But if you join through a club, it tends to be a little bit less money, and that's because you're going through the club, and we give the club a discount. So, but if you wanted to sign up just as a regular member, it's $65 a year.
Okay. Now, I've heard from a few clubs, and I think it's, in fact, I think they're all non-landed clubs who have told me this. Part of the money they collect goes to the AANR office, which makes sense. And part of that they get to keep as a club. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And some clubs will waive the piece that goes to them, whatever that piece is. So it becomes even cheaper. So it's advantageous to join a club, which is what we should all be doing anyway, right?
nice if you can,
Yeah, right.
if you have a resort or a club that's close to you. But we have a wealth of these what we call non-landed, for lack of a better term, that are really popping up, and I'm really excited about that because they fill a need where the geography might not be conducive to people, or that they want something a little bit different because the non-landed clubs have the ability to be a little more freeform. They can go bowling, they can have the holy paint runs, the paint and sip. They can go places and do things. That's what they like to say. And so they tend to be a little more cost effective for people that may not want to jump for the entire amount.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, yeah, that makes sense. And then, so a lot of those clubs or a club can form. I know we talked to Jeff Jackson before. I'll just give him a new name today. He's the godfather of non landed clubs because he and two other gentlemen wrote the manual. I didn't have to. Just you want to start a non landed club? Here's how I did it. And I think this will work for you too. But you can start one right out of your own living room, right? You don't need, in fact, that's the whole point of a non landed club. You don't need property or a building. You can just do it wherever you want, right?
really a grassroots effort.
Yeah.
And I really have to thank Jeff Jackson. He is the vice president for AANR West. And he started a club. But then people would say, well, I've got questions. Can I kind of bounce them off you? And he took the initiative to actually produce a manual that actually answered these questions. And so when people go that extra mile, it goes to show you that they really have a love and a passion for what they do, and that helps out other people. So I really have to applaud the folks that were involved in that. It's one of our more popular documents.
I'll bet. I review the whole thing because before the interview, I try to get all the information I can, and it's extremely well written. And basically, if you want to start a club, you just start at page one, read the first sentence, second sentence, and just read all the way to the end, and then follow it. Go back and forth. You tried this, and that didn't work. Let me go back to page 17. Oh, I see what Jeff said to do here. And so it's one of those that's laid out beautifully, easy to follow, and easy to start your own club. And to become affiliated with AANR, is it still they have to have 15 members by some deadline?
For the non-landed clubs, yes.
Okay.
They have a 2-year provisional period for them to get the 15 members. And we're hoping that when they want to affiliate, that they will come with membership, because sometimes it's kind of difficult, to try to spend your first 2 years, wrangling people for membership. But we do, give you that period, and we do give you support too. So
Okay. Well,
yeah.
that's good. Yeah. So if they have a question as a non-landed club, they can still come to the AANR office either by text, email, phone, whatever, and get the support like anybody else would.
Well, actually, Jeff has now expanded. He wanted to actually get in front of people and be able to answer the questions like in real time. And so they have the manual. And if they have any other questions, he's going to start like a learning module where he will have Zooms. People can sign up and they can actually interact, because Jeff in the ANR West has a non-landed peer group, and that's for people that have the non-landed clubs, and they bounce ideas off each other. What kind of events do you have? What kind of tax status are you? Who do you use for a website? What can I put on that website? So there's a lot of questions even once you become a non-landed club. And so he's going to actually expand that. And so that's going to be more work for him, but he doesn't shy away from work. And I love to see when people are so passionate that they will spend their own time to try to make it easier for someone else.
I remember when we first contacted Jeff Jackson, it was all about the Rocky Mountain Naturist Non-Landed Club. That was the only concern here. Let's get this guy on. He runs his own club. Let's find out what's going on. And then the time from him confirming the interview till the time we actually had it, he would send additional emails to me. Oh, by the way, I'm on the AANR West board. He wasn't vice president. Yeah, it's like, whoa, that's kind of big news that I didn't know. And then a little bit later, oh yeah, by the way, I came up with this manual for non-landed clubs, and you know, around here, I didn't know him yet. I thought, okay, whatever. And then he sent it to me. I thought, holy cow! Like this guy is a budding superstar within the AANR organization. And I'm glad he made it to the vice president chair of AANR West, and I see bigger and better things for him down the road too. I'm sure you do as well.
They do. When you
Yeah.
see somebody with that kind of passion, you know
Yeah.
that they're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And the one thing about the non-landed manual is the fact that we've never had anybody really put in. I mean, we've had people kind of start things, but he really and the other two folks that did it, they really put their heart in it, and so this will last. And it'll go through maybe some more revisions or adding things as thing comes up. But we've never really had something that we could pass on to somebody because once you leave a position, basically all your knowledge goes. And
Yeah.
he wanted to make sure that it would, be available once he is, on to something else.
Yeah, no,
So
that's great to hear. And I talked to Mitch London several times. As you know, we've had him on the show, and he mentioned he was president before you, and he left you kind of sort of a schedule or a calendar. Like, here's what I did, and then it's up to you to take it, and you can throw it away, or you can follow it or tweak it. And I'm sure you tweaked it because that's what normal human beings do, and you make it fit. And I'm guessing when the time comes, you'll pass all that stuff on to the next person. And so 20, 40 years from now, they'll have a wealth of information, what to do, what's happened in the past, what worked and what did not work. And not only with the non-landed clubs, but in this case with the presidency, right?
that was great. Mitch has been very generous with his time,
Yeah.
and I am so excited that he is the secretary treasurer because he already has a working knowledge of what we need for the board, and he is willing to share his knowledge, which is big. Sometimes people want to, get proprietary, and you have to do it yourself, and so he's always willing to jump in and help wherever needed, and especially advise on things that when he was president.
Yeah.
So that's really, really great. And yes, I did get a list and I will be doing the same thing. Yes.
Great. I had when I was in college 183 years ago, I was studying music. We talked about music before we started the interview, and I was studying privately with this gentleman who was with a major symphony orchestra. He was considered one of the best top five on his instrument in the entire world. I was the right place, right time. So I got an hour alone with this guy every week. You talk about a major education. That's like a PhD every week, it felt like. And I learned something either from somebody else or on my own. I forgot what it was, some musical idea. And so the next lesson I went in and I said, "Hey, you won't believe what I learned." He goes, "Oh, tell me all about it." So I did. He goes, "Yeah, I knew that." I said, "You did?" He goes, "Well, yeah." I said, "But you never told me that. Why didn't you tell me that?" And he looked at me, he goes, "Hey, you think I'm going to teach you everything I know?" I said, "Well, that was kind of the expectation." He goes, "Oh, no." He goes, "When you graduate here, you and I might be competing for jobs. Right now, I have it over you, and it's going to stay that way." Now, he was half joking, half serious, but at the same time, he meant it. Thank goodness that doesn't happen with Anna, right?
It's one of those things that, and I've always maintained that in when I was out in the public sector, is that if you resource guard, you're not doing yourself good because if you get hit by a bus the next day, then people are going to suffer for that because
Yeah.
they're going to have to figure out where you're going. And one of the things that I thought was so exciting is my staff said she will never ask us to do anything that she wouldn't do herself.
That's great.
And I thought, that is the epitome of a team is, jumping in and helping no matter what position you are or whatever you do. And if you resource guard, you're not making it so that your job is secure because you're going to leave at some point. What you're doing is you're hampering the next person, you're hampering anything. And that's what I'm trying to do with the regions. I'm saying the presidents really need to talk to each other, share best practices. What works in one region may not work in another one, but maybe they have an answer to a question that you just haven't been able to answer yourself. And I'm asking the trustees to do the same thing as well, because our business is 365 days a year. We may only have two meetings. So you shouldn't be warming a chair just at the meetings. You should be actively working this entire time. And so that's one of the things I wanted to get them to do is start working on that is let's have a phone call once a month for an hour. It doesn't even have to be that long, but let's share the wealth because everybody wins on that.
Yeah. And it really comes down when I worked for organizations, then led organizations, but I learned this when I was working for them, not leading. I was told the organization is the most important thing around here. And I had bosses, not to me personally, but it's not about you, it's not about him, it's about her. It's about the organization. So we expect you to come to work every day and put everything you have into the organization. And if that means evenings and weekends, so be it. So be ready to go. It's pretty, higher level jobs and decent pay. So the expectations were higher. And he said, if you ever do anything outside that affects the organization, not outside of work, but just in terms of outside of the scope, he said, then I'll be coming after you and you might not be here much longer because you put yourself above the organization. And he said, nobody is above the organization. And this guy, kind of like you talked about, you wouldn't ask anyone to do something you didn't do. He would often be seen walking up and down the hallways, picking up a piece of paper or a pen somebody had dropped. That's a CEO. A lot of people would say, hey, we need a custodian to pick up some paper here. He said, no. The organization's the thing. If we have a customer come in or a client and they see paper on the floor, it looks like heck. So I'm here. I see it. I pick it up. We move on. Everybody wins, especially the organization. And it seems like that's your mindset as well. AANR is above everything else and above every individual, as it should be, right?
And I spend a lot of time. One time I was with some folks, and my husband's pretty quiet. He's the one that supports me, kind of behind me.
Right.
And somebody asked me about how many hours do you spend? And he said, I can answer that because it kind of started about 4 hours a day. It's now about 6 hours a day, answering emails, monitoring social media for questions. Then that doesn't count the meetings and the phone calls I have. And sometimes I've had as many as 3 meetings right back to back to back. And I've spent whole days on the phone with members or other folks. So, and I answer my own mail. And it's been, I've said this before, it's been kind of disappointing when people said, oh, I wrote, and I didn't actually expect the president to answer. And that's disconcerting because if you don't think that you're going to actually get a personal answer, I look at whatever is coming in, and if it's something that affects the region, I will get the regional president and the trustee involved because you want to get the decisions close to the key decision makers.
Yeah.
And so they know their regions, they know their people, and so that is a lot of what I do is making sure that it gets to the right people. If it's something that I can't answer, if it's something simple, I'll take care of it. But the office is in Florida. I'm in California, so there's a 3-hour difference. So the phone starts ringing early, and I'm fine. I said that's fine because business has already started, and so I don't want them to have to wait till I wake up. So the phone starts ringing pretty early, and yeah. I nights, weekends, holidays. I don't expect people to put in the time I do because I am very, you know, pro everything. So I just want to, I've immersed myself into it, and I don't ask anybody to work the crazy hours I do. But I do want people to know that even when I've been on vacation, the funny thing is, I was on a cruise and I would go in the middle of the night because that's when, wherever I was, it seemed to be the middle of the night till about 4 o'clock in the morning that I would go into this one area and the cleaners would be there. And they said that I can't remember the term, but they were like the president that never sleeps or something like that because they always saw me with my headset and my laptop. And I said, well, I may be on vacation, but business doesn't stop and I don't want it to. So that's my agreement. And my husband's on board for it. And he now gets to the point where he says, do you think you can pencil me in between something, or can I get, can we put something on the calendar so we can have dinner? He makes kind of light of it. But he supports me and he knows that I've always been 110% of whatever I do. So
yeah. Well, a couple of things here. First of all, I would recommend that your husband buy a new calculator because I think his is broken. If he came up with 6 hours a day for you, I personally think it's more. And I remember you said that on this show the last time you were on, I think, because there have been times I've, texted you or emailed you and you don't get back for several hours and you'll say, sorry, I was in this meeting, I was in that meeting, and then I had to do this. And it's all about AANR. And sometimes you're just swamped at 10, 12, 15 hours a day. So if he wants me to buy him a new calculator, I will. Fresh batteries and everything, because I think the total is higher. Now, 6 hours a day for a volunteer position is wildly out there in a very positive way, but I think it's more. So have him call me and we'll set him up with a new calculator. How's that sound?
it is actually more because that's the part where he sees me hunched
Yeah.
over the computer. But
Yeah.
there's the committee meetings and the phone calls and things like that. But I must say, he was saying, because I am, kind of in my office where he can't hear this because it's a lot of stuff that I want to keep confidential, and he understands he's retired law enforcement, so he knows
Yeah.
that I can't share a lot of stuff with him.
Yeah.
And so his deal was that he got to buy a motorcycle, and he'll say, "Okay, you're going to be on the meet and greet. That's 3 hours, right?" All of a sudden, I hear the garage door roll up, and I
Yeah.
hear him take off, and he knows, but that he got 3 motorcycles out of it, so
Yeah.
he's happy. It's a good trade off for him.
Yeah. Well, that is a good trade off. Yeah. You both win, and Anna wins as well. The other thing, and you didn't obviously ask me to say this, but we record every interview around here. We're recording your interview now. Should we tell people what time the interview started for you? I feel compelled to do so if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
The president of the American Association for Nude Recreation was sitting at her mic and speaking at 5 a.m. her time. That is incredible. You know how many people would tell me to jump in the lake if I said, "Hey, can you do 5 o'clock in the morning?" There've been two or three who said, "Sure." Most say, "Frank, you got to be kidding me." You didn't even hesitate. You just said, "Yeah, let's do it." And you've done it before. You've done 5 a.m. before too. So people should know just how hard you work and how much tail you bust to get all the great things done for Anna. So everybody appreciates you. I thought I'd put that out there. As I mentioned, I was speaking to Linda Weber, president of the American Association for Nude Recreation. Linda, as I mentioned, I watched the entire midwinter conference a few weeks ago. Zoom all day Friday, Zoom all day Saturday. And I saw a chart being put up about all the new members, new people who have joined AANR, which is one of your big initiatives in your campaign. Now, here, we're going to boost the numbers up here, folks. And I thought that I saw the final number being 2,405 new members. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
Wow. That is beyond belief. I mean, that would be good for a 10-year period, but you pulled it off in one or a little over one. Where are these people coming from? Just hearing about Anna and saying, "Hey, count me in," or what?
There's just different ways. Either, a club has mentioned things because it's directs and for clubs, and it's just getting out there and touching, people. We've gotten a lot of our information from our great marketing that our marketing chair and the marketing committee has done, and I think that has really gone out a lot farther than it has in the past. So right now we're getting the members. Now we need to focus on retention. We need to keep
Yeah.
those members. And so
Yeah.
that's where I'm kind of going is, okay, we're getting our members. Let's figure out how we can keep them.
Yeah, which makes sense. And we get a lot of inquiries here. Now, we're not part of the AANR office, obviously. We're not elected to anything, but a lot of people hadn't heard of AANR before until they started listening to the show. It's like, what's this AANR thing? They checked into it. I know you've gotten people from us. I don't think it's 2,405, so we're not taking credit for that. But the more we speak positively about AANR and all the benefits, the better off we will all be. Now, I want to talk about the GAT. We hear GAT all the time, which is Government Affairs Team, which could easily put people to sleep, except without the Government Affairs Team, or GAT, the acronym, we might not have nude recreation. It might be all gone. So it's very important work. And somebody put the number out, I think, at the meeting, and I apologize for not remembering who. 80% of the efforts around AANR, or 80% of the money, goes toward protecting the rights for everybody, their nudist recreation rights. Does that sound about correct?
That probably is true because
Yeah.
legislation is very expensive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're seeing unprecedented scrutiny. And in Florida, it always has been a little more ramped up than we have seen traditionally in the rest of the United States. But Vermont has a bill. Missouri is starting to pop up with things, bills that really would take away our nudist privileges because they're not rights right now. And it's cyclical. It depends. Some people are excited about it, and then in some years it saved the children. Nude bodies are shameful for people to see, and the one part is everybody has the ability to be nude, and some people think that they just, that's just beyond their comprehension. And when I've talked to them, I've said, "Well, do you take a shower in your suit? Because I don't think you do. You're nude. That's a revelation to you, I'm sure." But when people fear what they don't understand, and so education is a big part of it, and just trying to educate the legislators about what we do, what the purpose is, and the impact that we have. Now, before it was just mostly on nude recreation. We like to go to clubs, we like to go to beaches, and things like that. But the focus now is body positivity, being a healthier person, giving back to the earth, doing just a little bit more what I call nude adjacent. But uh, the fact that I'm very close to Hollywood and have friends that are actors and actresses, and the immense pressure to be perfect and look perfect and never make a misstep. We cannot ever. It's an artificial perfection that we will never attain. And now that you have AI and filters, people avail them themselves. They don't want people to see themselves in their raw. I don't wear makeup, and if that's offensive to people, that's a little scary because I don't have a mask. When you see me, you get me. And I've seen my friends without makeup, and it's almost like I didn't even recognize them. They put a mask on. And one of the things I am so proud of, Pamela Anderson, who is highly visible. She was always touted as, perfect and beautiful. And she decided to just draw the line and say, my face is perfect without any kind of adornments or enhancements.
Yeah.
And amazingly, Hollywood has actually said, hey, that's not a bad way to think. And she's getting endorsements and things like that, because it used to be a whole slideshow of, oh my God, here's, so and so without any makeup. And what a horror story that is.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you that their faces are basically painted on, and when they take them off, you don't recognize them. Is that the kind of a message that we want to give our kids, that unless you wear makeup or Spanx or these tight clothes that bind you, that can cause health problems? Do we really want to put that message out? And no, that's can you imagine how many businesses would just collapse if everybody became a nudist? Clothing, the plastic surgery, makeup, the business is making you feel less so that you will buy more. And that's not where I want my money to go. I don't want lotions and potions and things where people don't even recognize me, out there. That's not healthy to you. And it does something to you, when you don't feel confident, and you can't oh, I opened the door and my neighbor didn't recognize me and thought I looked horrible, or said that I don't look good because I don't have makeup on. Do we want to project that image? No,
No,
absolutely
no,
not.
no. To me, that's on the neighbor at that point. It's like, go get a life. I'm me, and I'm going to live as me, and it's not your business. But now GAT is doing something special, which involves a challenge of sorts, and the winner gets a 1 week stay at Shangri-La Ranch in Arizona. What's going on with that?
Yes, the GAT challenge. If you send in, for every $5, you get a ticket, and it goes into a bowl. And I usually pull it at the end of the year, or in November, so we can announce it.
Okay.
And Shangri-La Ranch in Arizona New River, Arizona, has been extremely generous with a week. Um, and so that I haven't been out to Arizona. It's a great place. And so their generosity, it will be someone's win. And also I kind of did something little, and it probably won't generate a lot of money, but it plays on the fact that the US has discontinued minting the penny. So I have pennies all over the house, and drawers, purses, wherever, and I just wanted to get rid of them. So I actually took a big bag of it to the midwinter meeting, which of course flagged TSA. And so they said, oh, are you a coin collector? And we said, no, we're doing this for a charity. And they said, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so what it is we've asked the regions to encourage their clubs to have a jar, just a jar
Mhm.
out there, so they can put pennies or change into this. And what it will do is just put the focus back on GAT, the government affairs team. They do a lot of work, and I have to credit Tim Mullins and his team. concerning bills, we are seeing hundreds and hundreds of bills that not they don't all affect us. However, if they have something that says nude in them or something that may have a bounce back on us that we did not intend, and so my focus is to really uplift that whole movement and that whole program, because yes, it's fun to be a nudist and it's fun to get the discounts, but um, I want to know that I will not have to be, a home nudist again, that I will have the privilege of being able to be nude in certain places. And that's what GAT does. They go through every bill, and it's time consuming, and they spend a lot of time on it. I sit actually on the meeting and I listen to everything that the different regions talk about. And some of these bills, it's quite concerning. I mean, they just want to outlaw nudity, just as a practice.
Yeah.
And to us, of course, we think, well, that's just insane. But if you talk to somebody that really doesn't know anything about nudism, or you ask them what their theory is, a lot of it will lean towards sexual.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you can understand how that will, conflate things. That because in, a lot of, societies, it's you take your clothes off to have sex, or. And so we have to educate about that. And then we have to educate about what the effect will be if this bill goes through. So we have a lobbyist in Florida, and we've had to engage lobbyists in different places like Hawaii or Wisconsin to work on our behalf. And they educate the legislators and they say, this is what we're about. What can we do to change the language so it doesn't catch us in that net? And a lot of times they have no idea that the wording could quite literally affect us in a huge way. And so a lot of times, if once you educate them, they're willing to work with you. Some of them are just no, that's I'm not into that sort of thing. But most of them are willing, and that takes a lot of money, as you can imagine. So that's why we put that real focus on. You want to know where your dollar is? Your dollar is going so that you can, go to these places and be nude as a privilege until it becomes a right, if it does, hopefully in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But that's a major push, and that's why I started the penny thing. It's a nickel in Canada because they got rid of their penny a long time ago,
Yeah.
but what it is if you have that jar at your club, you'll read it and see that it's a small penny, but small change can make big change. And if people just throw that money in, and it'll, stay within the regions, and anything with AANR will stay with AANR. But it was a fun way to bring it to attention once again that this is what we do. You may not have heard of it, but you throw that penny in there, you're going to read that paper and you're going to realize we are working to make sure that you have that privilege.
Well, that's great information. And it is amazing work that they do. And people should know a lot of people doing, I don't want to call it the dirty work, but the hard work behind the scenes so the rest of us can get out there clothes free. We talked, or you have talked before, and George Orberly with the marketing committee. I got a whole lot of meetings and events going on in 2026, well planned out. It's not as though you just wake up one day and say, hey, why don't we throw a party today? You've actually planned this out for the whole year. What's going on, Linda Weber, in 2026?
All right, let me get the spectacles on and I will read you what we have. That's one thing about our marketing chair. He is a dynamo and he works just as hard as I do. And he really wants to make an impact. So he wants to make, a lot of things really exciting for our members. So starting in March, and I'm going to read what the meetings and some of the events are. So starting in March, the ANR West Springboard meeting will happen. In April, we have the Women in Nude Recreation. We have the Winter program that focuses on women. So that we'll have a weekend for that. And then May, we have World Naked Gardening Day, which is always fun. June, we have the AANR Florida Summer Convention, and that will be at Lake Como. In June, we have the AANR Southwest Convention, and that will be at Star Ranch. In June, also, we have the AANR East Summer Convention at Whitetail Resort. And then June 20th is National Nude and Nature Day. It's always a fun one. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Oh, yeah.
July is July 5th through the 11th is Nude Recreation Week. And that's one of the things that we kind of bring out and talk about, being nude. And that's a big thing for people to they have a whole week, and maybe it's on our bucket list. And that rolls right into ending with July 11th, International Skinny Dip Day. That's on their bucket list for a lot of people. And once they try it, I'll tell you that almost just convinces them right there.
Yeah.
And then in July, we also have the AANR Northwest Convention. It's going to be at Lake Bronson. July 19th through the 26th, we have AANR Midwest Convention at the Fern Hill Club. And then in August, the AANR West Convention will be at Laguna del Sol. And then the national convention is going to be at the Willamettans, and that's very exciting. They're very excited to host us. And then in August, the first weekend is the ANR Western Canada. They call it their general meeting. So all the meetings have to finalize before we actually have our convention in August.
Sounds like a busy year. I'm almost in need of a naturist from listening to that list. Well done. Yeah, George, we haven't talked much about him. He likes to be in the background. And in fact, he even said that to me. I think you were there during the meeting, because I just want to be in the background doing all the busy work, the hard work. He goes, you guys go out there, and Linda Weber go out there and promote it. And we're trying to get him out of his shell a bit to get credit for all the work that he does. So we mentioned his name a lot on the show. He's probably mad at me for that, but when you do good work, we probably ought to let people know who it is, right?
That's why I presented him with an award at the convention last year, because he has done so much. And I mean, talk about a tireless individual. He has created this whole marketing campaign, and he's so passionate about it. And he doesn't want any kind of recognition. And I must admit, I just have, massive respect for him. And I could tell right then the kind of passion that he had. So yes, definitely spills over into the marketing.
Yeah, we appreciate him very much. All right. Well, Linda Weber, we're excited around here. We've supported the living daylights out of you since the beginning, since you first came on. And we got you back in 2023, probably long before you even thought about running for president. It was about a year later you actually went for it. And here you are today in 2026. Always great to have you on the show. We'll get you back on when the campaign is in full swing as we get closer to the election. And then we'll go from there. And Linda Weber, thank you for everything today. Go out there and have a great close-free day.
Thank you, Frank. Always a pleasure.
You bet. The very terrific Linda Weber, the president for the American Association for Nude Recreation. And we thank Linda Weber for all of her time on these last two Saturday shows. And on the next two Saturday shows, which will be episodes 173 and 175, our special guest will be Jenny Agee, one of the 7 trustees for AANR, and also the chairperson for the Ambassadors Program. And before we head for the hills until next Wednesday's show, let's bring back in our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Welcome back, Lisa.
Yeah, it's good to be back, and I did stay naked the whole time, so I followed my end of the bargain.
All right. Linda Weber, any thoughts on her? Another terrific part of her interview was heard today.
Linda always impresses me. Her passion for naturism comes through, and her support of AANR and, everything that we've done. And I think it's just amazing. But she has been a great leader for AANR, and I think they've been in very good hands. And so I just, she has a tremendous amount of wonderful things to say, and a great idea is to keep AANR moving.
Yep. I think if she had her way, everybody in the world would be clothes free for all of the right reasons and just enjoy life as life were intended to be. So we thank Linda Weber very much. And as you know, on the next two Saturday shows, we'll have Jenny Agee in here. She's one of the trustees for the American Association for Nude Recreation and also in charge of the Ambassadors Program and about 200 other chairpersonships hats she wears. So looking forward to that. And Lisa Monroe, if you promise to stay clothes-free until Wednesday, we'll get together on Wednesday. Is that a promise?
That sounds wonderful. We will march forth on Wednesday, won't we?
And if we were in the Army, we'd be really tired.
Yes, we would.
All right.
But we aren't.
That's right. We'll see you Wednesday.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Well, you've been listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 171 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and on most Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.